Ireland and all kinds of football is back.
And we're absolutely going to talk about that today. Obviously, the Aer Lingus kickoff classic that they've got going over there in Ireland between Iowa State and Kansas State took place. And
Farmageddon.
First of all, so many great nicknames that went along with that. But I'll say this, it was so much fun to finally see some football, even though we couldn't see the lines on the field.
Yeah, what was the deal with the lines? Jacob, it looked like that field had been striped about 3 months ago, and they haven't striped it since. They were so faint, and of course, it poured down rain, and that didn't help things. But even before the rain, the lines looked like they had been striped a month and a half ago, and nothing's been done since. I just don't get that.
They even tried to come out during the game and repaint them, and you could tell there was just so much moisture on the field. First of all, we're in Ireland. Like, I'm very familiar with that game, being a Notre Dame fan.
Right, 'cause y'all were in it.
Them playing in it for a couple of times, and then obviously we've seen Florida State, Florida State as well, go over there and play that big game against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that was kind of Georgia Tech's coming out party. But I'll be honest, I enjoy watching LSU games. You want to know why?
Because they've got the numbers on the 5s, the 15s, the 25. I love that. I love that.
I like it too. For somebody that struggles to count already, it makes it a whole lot easier if you do it in 5 intervals.
Do y'all remember when they messed up at Cleveland High School? And they started putting them. Somebody messed up, and they had to fix it. And what they ended up with, they had the 5, the 10, the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, because they had messed up to begin with. They said, well, we've gone this much. Well, let's go ahead and do them all on both sides of the field. They left it like that for the whole year.
I don't know when that took place.
It was when there was natural turf.
But I'm going to blame athletic director Al Morris for that.
Yeah.
That's where I stand.
Yeah, even though his tenure has only been under the turf. But
yeah, no, he was not there then.
That's true.
This has been at least 8-10 years ago.
Listen, I'm just trying to keep pace with the community and keep the heat on them. That's all I'm trying to
do. When they asked where you were on the show, I was like, I'll be honest. Any chance he can get it from dodging his brother, he's going to take it. And so when he saw the one game on our schedule that was at Cleveland High School, he was like, nothing against Cleveland, but I don't want to be around Big Al.
Hey, I'll say this, though. I did miss the atmosphere and everything that went on over there. Obviously, something that they do right is putting their athletes, their band members, their cheerleaders, putting them up and promoting them and having a good environment. So I did hate that I missed out on all that.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a family obligation.
You and Hank had to go to a Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's fine.
That's right.
Listen,
T-Swift.
The stands were packed at Cleveland, and at the Bradley McMinn game, the Bradley side was packed. Now, McMinn, there was some openness there.
I was shocked by that.
I was too.
And people commented to me. They were like, "Did you go to the game?" And so, like, our TV view shined onto the McMinn side. You would have, if you'd have been able to see the Bradley side,
it was packed,
absolutely packed, not a seat in the house.
Yep.
But the McMinn side was fairly open, and I don't know if that was in fear of weather. I know, like, the weather had flirted. Like, we at the station were prepared for if it was going to rain, if it was not going to rain, all those things, covering things up.
Over here, like the United Postal Service.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I was just shocked that as much hype has been around McMinn this offseason too, that they didn't travel better.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but they missed a great game.
They did.
I missed the fans that didn't show up for McMinn missed a terrific game, and boy, what a heartbreaker for Bradley. I mean, man, somebody woulda, coulda, shouldas for sure in that game.
Well, one thing that I'll point out, and this is something that you pointed out, I was listening to the pregame show and the drive that you guys did, and Bradley leads that series all time, 55 now to 43 with 3 ties. But McMinn has won back-to-back games for the first time since I don't know when.
It's been a while.
So I asked, because that was the trivia question that Sheldon and them threw out there.
Okay.
I didn't ask Sheldon, but I asked a McMinn friend of mine, and he said, I think maybe 2009, 2010.
That's been a while. And I'll say this, though. If you look at this year's game, last year's game, both of them, absolute battles.
Could have gone either way.
Absolutely. And that's especially to start your season. It's a huge rivalry game. It's a non-region game. You're in different classifications. That's what you want out of that kickoff game. You want to see your team tested. You want to see where you need to improve, because at the end of the day, you can lose that game, and it doesn't matter when it comes to the playoffs. That's your ultimate goal. You want to win your region.
That's right.
You want to make it to the playoffs. So in the whole scheme of things, if you're a Bradley fan, don't hit the panic button because this is a tough team. This is a good Bradley Bear team.
Well, the turnovers just absolutely just killed them. And Andy, you weren't there. You didn't see the game on Thursday, but that's the one thing that we were so impressed with Walker Valley was they just were so sharp. They didn't have the turnovers and the mistakes that you really and truly you really expect mistakes in game one. And, Cleveland had their fair share of mistakes. McMinn and Bradley both had their fair share of mistakes. But of the four teams that we got to see live and up close in person, Walker Valley played the cleanest game by far.
Yeah, and just to recap scores from last Thursday and Friday, the ESPN Cleveland 101.3 community kickoff game on Thursday, Walker Valley defeated Cleveland at Benny Monroe Stadium by a score of 28-3. Obviously, you guys were on the call for that one and can dive a little bit more into that game. We're going to, of course, it is Monday. We're going to talk with Coach Chris Brown, the head football coach at Cleveland High School, here a little bit later on around 5:40. So be sure to tune in for that interview. And then the other big game, as I like to call it, Black Friday. And no, we're not going out shopping, getting ready for Christmas. It's the McMinn County, Bradley County Black Friday. McMinn defeated Bradley Central at Bear Stadium 21-17 in an absolute just talk about two teams that are just kind of punching each other in the mouth, just trading licks. That's from what I've watched. I've went back and used the YouTube machine and kind of skimmed through. And it looked like two teams that really wanted to win that football game and were going after each other.
Yeah, it was funny because I stayed for the first half of that Bradley game and then snuck home and caught the second half at home. But just walking through the crowd, I would hear things like, well, I'm not impressed with Bradley's offense, or I'm not impressed with either of these teams' offenses. And I was like, man, I don't think y'all realize the type of dudes that are on this field right now. Like, I don't think you realize that there's two bodies that are D1 bodies on McMinn's offensive line. One cat's committed to West Virginia, but then the center's 300 pounds as well. Mm-hmm. Then you've got a D1 defensive lineman on Bradley's side. They were just going to war.
Yeah, A.J. Westfield.
And then the huge hits in that first half of that game, like there was one that I was surprised the Bradley kid could breathe after. And, it was just back and forth, punch after punch after punch. And these kids were laying it out, and I was hearing comments like, well, this ain't impressive. Well, I mean, it's because the athletes were out there were doing their jobs. They were plugging holes. They were doing exactly what you were supposed to. Then you see McMinn kind of busted out in the second half. Those big bodies just started leaning, and they started leaning and leaning.
I hate to change the subject a little bit, but I got to ask you both a question. I'm sure you both saw it. There was a punt. McMinn punts the ball to Bradley. A McMinn guy grabs it at the one, and he just basically runs into the end zone. He had possession of the ball. Is that not a touchback? And they put it at the 1 yard line. Now, Bradley did make a long little drive after that, but I thought you had to at least have control, but have stopped your momentum. He never stopped momentum. He got control of the ball, but he was running full tilt.
If your momentum carries the ball across the plane, then I've always been under the impression, I know at least in college and in the pros, that's a touchback.
See, I think it dies the moment in high school and in middle school. I think it dies the moment.
The moment you gain possession,
our
matter if you're running fast or not.
Our friends that are officials, Mark Smith, if you're out there, holler at us. Let us know the ruling on that.
Yeah,
maybe college and the NFL is different than high school.
Yeah, I think it's like a safety thing. I think it's the same thing with, like, you can't return a field goal that's blocked. Like, I think it's like one of those, like, safety.
Probably so.
And if the football touches the grass in the end zone, it's dead. You cannot bring it out of the end zone. We know that.
Yeah, that's one thing that used to irritate me whenever you could attempt to field a kickoff return, and if you're across that goal line, you couldn't take it out. Couldn't try to return it. And unfortunately, saw over the years, I've seen some big-time playmakers just barely get that hill and it get called when, they got big play capability. So that's one of those things I'd like to say. But, again, that's a national rule.
Yeah, sure.
I'd like to see that changed in high school football. But as we're talking about high school football, of course, got to give a shout-out. All high school football coverage here on The Drive presented by Food City. Food City taking care of us and all three of our local high school teams. Going into week 2, it's a big week again.
Huge week.
Following up week 1 with just as much of razzle and dazzle when you look at the schedule. Bradley Central taking on Walker Valley at the MAC up there at Walker Valley. And then you've got Cleveland at McMinn County. So just kind of trading opponents and just keeping the rivalries going, keeping the excitement going. And when you look at things from the perspective of, and this might fire some people up a little bit, but I'm going to say it, between McMinn and Walker Valley, you've got 2 5A teams who have beat the 2 6A teams.
That's right. On the road.
On the road.
Both of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely –
could it flip this week?
It could. I mean, it could. You know, I think McMinn has a really good squad. I think they've got some high-caliber guys. Also, just some returning production. That's why I think people were so high on them in the offseason to begin with. I'll be honest, boys. Bradley's defensive line is a problem for anybody that they're going to face. That offensive line that they faced against McMinn is probably, I would say, is going to be the best, but is going to be top 2 on their schedule.
We'll see what they got up there in Oak, Oak Ridge and Maryville and stuff.
Yeah,
but still,
you might have some guys like that up there that are going to have some pretty capable offensive lines. But in my opinion, that McMinn offensive line is the best in our area, and it's not close. And Bradley still was able to penetrate. Bradley still was able to get pressure on Luke Lawson. That D line's going to be a problem.
Well, I also want to say this. As soon as the younger Tucker Cook, quarterback for Bradley, gets a little bit more settled in, he's got some weapons. One transfer guy that we've not talked a whole lot about coming from Cleveland over to Bradley, Braden Carroll.
Right.
Kid's a playmaker. Yeah. He absolutely is. So he's got the weapons, the tight end that's really good, 88. His name's slipping in my mind right now. But they have got the weapons on that offense at Bradley. As they evolve and continue to get settled in, they're going to be dangerous. And just to kind of give a quick evaluation of Cleveland, obviously you lose a game 28-3 against a crosstown rival. You don't want to lose that game. It's Coach Brown's first game of his tenure. Of course, we're going to talk with him a little bit more at 5:40 during his interview. But you got to keep in mind, you essentially lost your entire group of guys that should be your senior class. You're playing without seniors because a lot of them hit the road. Calling a spade, there's senior former Cleveland players at Walker Valley. They're senior, former Cleveland players at Bradley.
Yeah, that's true.
When you take a shot like that, it's hard to compete with these good teams. Walker Valley's a good football team. And Bradley's a good football team. McMinn's a good football team. You're not starting, and we talked about this last week. Jim, you pointed it out. Sometimes, and I even kind of joked around and sent you a text. You're like, you know, it's a big week, but you kind of hate to do this week one. And Jim was saying that from a coach's standpoint of a team that you're trying to develop and kind of get some cohesiveness going, and to start out of the gate with not only good teams but emotional games is tough.
Well, I even said this on the air when Jacob and I were doing this. I said, hey, you know what, guys, if you're going to get Cleveland, get them this year, because I'll promise you, when that portal opens up when the season's over with, Cleveland's going to be very active. Yeah. You know they will. And they've got a good young group of kids.
They do. And so that was my point. I said it on the Mix TV pregame show. Like, your son was a part of a team where we went 3-14 as a baseball team. We played a lot of 7th graders. What did we do next year?
Yeah, solid.
We went state.
Yeah.
Finished top 4. They are getting invaluable experience as freshmen, sophomores.
Right.
By the end of this year, those sophomores are no longer going to be sophomores.
Right.
And in the eyes of being played and their knowledge and the experience, so then you bring those guys back, their junior and senior year, whew, I mean, you're ahead of the learning curve. The things that would stump you early are no longer going to stump you. Then you also can find some weak spots like, hey, we kind of struggle here. There's a kid that's unhappy somewhere. I mean, they're willing to transfer. They're willing to, pick up and move schools. So, again, I'm with you. If there's a year that you're going to get Cleveland, get them now.
Yep.
Because they've got the ball. They've got the ball coach.
They've got the coach.
They've got the coach. He's there. He's in the building and he's working from top down.
One thing that I did like to see. So I was able to watch the entire first half. Was able to watch it on the phone. So I stayed up live, up to tune, up to date, and I'm very impressed with McGowan.
Yeah,
at quarterback. The kid, regardless of how hard he was getting hit, regardless of what the score was, regardless of what was going on, he was getting up. A little gamesmanship and kind of letting everybody know, hey, I'm back up. I'm coming right back at you. And I think that competitiveness is going to be contagious to his teammates. So, yes, you're in a very tough region in 6A. You're probably in the toughest 6A region in the state. But I think this team's going to continue to get better and improve throughout the season. Now, does that mean they're going to have a winning record? I don't know. For Cleveland's sake, I hope they do. But they're going to continue to get better because they've got some really good leadership on that team.
Yeah, they're very elusive. Or McGowan is very elusive. He did such a good job of staying on his feet. There were multiple times where I feel like me and Jim were already calling the sack, and he's still on his feet and running around for another 30 seconds to extend the play.
Well, I was impressed with the running back, 23.
Beard.
Yeah.
He had a heck of a game. And then I'll be honest, I was impressed with the defense, with Cleveland's defense.
They only gave up one touchdown in the second half.
Yeah, well, there's only so much. There's only so much before like leaning on you becomes too much.
And
right?
that's something we heard Coach Aikens kind of use that term, leaning.
When
just wearing a team down.
Yeah, because Walker Valley's defense did a good job of not letting Cleveland advance the ball. That they had one really long drive that ended up in 3 points. Outside of that, Walker Valley's defense did its job, which means Cleveland's defense is right back on the field, and there's only so much a defense can do before they start getting tired and wore down. And to me, that's what happened because I thought Cunningham had a great game for Walker Valley.
For sure.
But in that first half, those linebackers were flying, dude. They were flying across the field. Like what he got in the second half with 5, 6, 7 yards gains were really like 2, maybe 3, because they were filling the hole constantly. You know, I was impressed. The bones are good. But it's just going to be one of those growing years for Cleveland.
So to hit on Walker Valley for a second, in that same breath, you were talking about people flying to the football. Miles Hawk is a guy that really stood out.
Yeah.
Aiden Burns is a guy who really stood out, which we knew. Those of us that follow Walker Valley football know who Aiden Burns is and what he's capable of. But Miles Hawk is a kid who's kind of came out of the shadows a little bit, getting some consistent playing time. He's starting now. Great performance at linebacker for him. And one of the biggest question marks for the Mustangs coming into this year was they lost their entire offensive line. You've lost your two, and I'll call them because I believe this was kind of the consensus, 2 stud defensive ends off that team. The concern was up front. So what I'm getting at is, were you necessarily tested against a Cleveland team that's kind of rebuilding and figuring things out? I don't know.
Yeah,
you did your job.
Nobody knows.
You did your job, but you're going to be tested this week when you play Bradley.
Absolutely. I mean, the boys up front need to be ready because that defensive line for Bradley High School is the real deal. Really, I'll say the front 7. I'll give them the entire front 7 did a really, really good job. The problem was in that third quarter, their offense wasn't able to produce much, so that meant McMinn's offense was getting back on the field. And when you've got a 330-pound 6'4" guy leaning on you, when you've got a 300-pound center leaning on you, and they can just keep on leaning, eventually attrition's setting in.
Yeah,
it's going to.
And Cleveland, nothing negative here, but they don't have that type of size on that line for sure. Yeah, that McMinn. I was so impressed with how physical those guys and how big they took up a lot of space, did they not?
Yeah. Well, I really was impressed from a physicality standpoint by both Bradley and McMinn. You want to talk about guys that were just every play punching each other in the mouth and then getting right back up and putting it on the line for their team. You know, it was a good game. It just came down to, I think, McMinn at the end had the more experience. I think having Braden Carroll off the field the second half was tough, especially on that last drive when you go for it 4 times from, I think, around the 7-yard line. You try to throw it in 4 times. Having a body like Braden Carroll in there would have been huge. You know, having a mismatched size guy would have been massive.
Is there a status on Braden?
All we know is during the game, Gene Henley let Stephen and them know that it was cramps.
Which is correctable.
Yeah. So
yeah, we made the comment that in that Cleveland Walker Valley game, that how many Cleveland guys were going down, cramping up, and everything, and supposedly there was one Walker Valley player, and I didn't even notice it when it happened. So yeah, you got to hydrate multiple days ahead of the game.
Well, the good thing is if you've been outside today, it's starting to feel a little bit like fall.
Fall's fall. Don't get your hopes up.
I know, but for this Friday should be good.
But it's going to get us through the week, as Jim just said, and it got me fired up. When I stepped outside this morning, I said, "Man, this crisp air feels good." It's got me a little fired up for college football, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say this. I'm gonna put myself out there. I think I'm probably the most fired up for college football in this studio right
I'll be
now.
honest, I don't know how you got us to go 20 minutes on this show without bringing up what you're wearing.
I almost interrupted the
There's-
comments about high school football.
There's been multiple times I'm like, you know what? We could throw a wrench in this and stop talking about high school football, but I knew this moment would come eventually.
Hey, so we'll talk about it when we come back from this break. I'll let Jim and Jacob just completely fill you guys in on what's going on here in the studio because I'm fired up for college football season, probably a little bit more than these two guys. Yeah, they might argue with me. I don't know. But listen, we got a lot coming up with college football when we come back. Got to talk about the Vols, the Bulldogs, and all the good matchups that are on the way this weekend, starting Thursday, ending next Monday for what's technically week 2, but still part of week 1 of the college football kickoff.
And we've got a big-time contest going on that we're going to get into that when we come back. from break, too.
Absolutely. When we come back right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Now at Hardees, 2 hand-breaded chicken tender wraps are only $5. Mix and match your favorite flavors like buttermilk ranch, honey mustard, and spicy. Endless combinations start with 2 warm tortillas, each filled with 100% white meat, juicy on the inside, crispy on the outside, hand-breaded chicken tenders. Any 2 wraps, now just $5. Hardees, goodness in the making. These items only. Price and participation may vary. Tax not included. Visit restaurant for details.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November 8th for the treatment of non-emergency orthopedic injuries like sprains, strains, and fractures. Doors open at 9 a.m., no appointment needed to be seen by our highly trained physicians and clinical staff. Saturday sports clinic dates are subject to change. Check sportmed.com for the latest information. That's sportmed.com.
This is Thomas Williams with Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. Stop by today and take advantage of Bradley County's largest pre-owned inventory, or visit cleveland-nissan.com, home of the lifetime warranty.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell. For the past quarter century, Mix 104.1 has been your home for UT Vols football. That's something to celebrate. Vol 25 is here. ESPN Cleveland 101.3 and USS are giving you a chance to win tickets to all of the Tennessee road games this season. Each Monday before a road game, you can register to win tickets to that Saturday's Vols game. Vol 25 is brought to you by USS. Visit USSTN.com/Chattanooga. For more information, check out our ESPN Cleveland 101.3 socials on Facebook and Instagram.
Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Visit milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682.
Cleveland Exteriors, for the best in windows, siding, and patio covers. Supporting our community for over 52 years. ClevelandExteriors.com. That's ClevelandExteriors.com. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 an hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. By the way, I've just about got this thing.
Well, I was about to say, I don't even know why you're using that script. I heard you recite it almost perfectly the other day.
He did a great job.
That was funny. I told Jacob, I said, I forgot the darn script. I said, I think I can wing through this, and I think I pretty much nailed it. But hey, man, speaking of nailing it, we've got a terrific prize we're giving away this week. Tell our listeners about it.
Yeah, we've got to talk about our Vols 25 giveaway. Vols 25 years of covering the Tennessee Vols here at Mix 104.1 WCLE, and of course now here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. But what we're doing, we're giving away tickets to Vols road games, and some good news: the game down at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta this weekend against the Syracuse Orangemen is included in that. So be paying attention here, because all games, Syracuse, Mississippi State, Alabama, Kentucky, Florida, all those road games, and of course this kickoff against Syracuse, are eligible for you to win these tickets, courtesy of USS, and of course USS, the sponsor of our Vols 25 giveaway. All you've got to do is go to ESPN Cleveland 101.3 Facebook page and enter to win.
Or you can text us at 423-749-1013 and enter that way too. Just make sure you say Vols versus Orange, and we'll know.
Vols 25 in your
25,
name.
that's right, yeah.
Vols 25 in your name.
For this week, that's for sure.
And you can, and I think you can actually do it on the Mix 104.1 pages
That's
now
correct.
as well.
Yeah, that's for all platforms here at WCLE. That's correct.
So basically, we are giving away tickets to all season.
12 games.
All 12 games.
Yeah.
And so like what's neat about this is me and my brother are on an adventure to go watch a game in every SEC stadium. And so if you are on that same track, we've got a chance for you to get to do it for free. You know, you get to experience a different place. We said on the show last Friday, like, yes, Neyland is the premier spot in college football to go watch a football game, but like if you've done that a couple times and you want to go cheer on your Vols somewhere else.
I've been to Bryant-Denny. It's been a few years. It was actually prior to Nick Saban becoming head coach. That's how long it's been. I've been told it's much more of an experience now than it was then, but it was pretty cool. I'll never forget just walking in there, and my first thing, like I said, this predates Nick Saban, was going, Bear Bryant used to coach down there.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool. And, of course, I went to a couple Tennessee games at Legion Field against Alabama, which, by the way, that place is a dump these days. I'm surprised it's still standing. But but I think this is a great contest. Going to these away venues, there's something about being the visiting team and the fan base, because you're definitely in the minority.
You're in it.
But boy, if you come away with a win, you walk out with that chest.
And I feel like this Vols 25 giveaway is built for Tennessee fans. We saw what they did at Ohio State last year. We saw what they did when they traveled down to LSU.
Yes, they travel well.
I mean, that game in Baton Rouge against the LSU Tigers, it looked like the stadium there was probably about 40% Tennessee fans. It was insane the amount of people that made their way down there.
LSU fans hadn't woke up yet. They don't get up. They don't get up till like 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Those day games
there is at night, man.
Yeah, those day games throw them off a little bit. Still hungover from the night before, apparently. But listen, so are we still doing the Georgia Marshall ticket giveaway?
Two tickets to Georgia Marshall.
Again, you can go to our Facebook page, or you can text us at 749-1013. You can do the same there.
That's awesome.
Hey, tickets are just a little bit more expensive to go to Georgia. We can only give away 2 of them. Can't give away 4 like we're giving away to the Vols.
Good save there, Mason. Good save.
I only give away 2 to those.
And I know you're excited. I know it's Marshall. It's not the same level, but your season's starting. I'd assume you're pretty excited, Jacob, but are you as excited as I am?
No, I guess I'm not. You had to come in and show up the entire station. So to paint a picture for you.
Oh, the picture will be on
it's going to be posted.
Cleveland 101.3.
If you're listening right now.
Facebook page. Check it out.
Jim got slapped in the face with it first.
Yes, I'm standing over there talking to some of the Bradley guys that were here in the building. I hear the front door open. I look, and my man here, Andy, walks in. I'm in complete full uniform. We're talking about, other than the cleats, game socks, the gold pants, the white away Notre Dame jersey.
Down in Miami, road game.
The Under Armour, the full helmet, face mask with the chin straps. Only thing he's missing with the mouthpiece.
Yeah, he's starting the season off with a 5-yarder.
He's got the gloves on. He's got the sweatbands on. This man is ready to play football for Notre Dame.
Listen,
he's got 4 years of eligibility.
That's
left.
right. I'm waiting on that call from Marcus Freeman, but I think the knee's an issue. I think it's scaring him away a little bit. But
you think?
I thought I'd come in here and have a little fun today, because I honestly really excited for this weekend. The full slate of games, of course, on Mix 104.1 on Saturday. You're going to have Tennessee taking on Syracuse down there in Atlanta for the kickoff game. there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You're going to have Georgia and Marshall on ESPN Cleveland 101.3 right here. And then, of course, on Monday night, we're going to have that game here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3 as well. North Carolina and who are the Tar Heels playing? I have it right in front of me here somewhere.
Mine just went blank.
I should remember that. It's
Either way.
Or no, it's North Carolina TCU.
TCU, yeah.
I almost said Texas
the Horned
Tech.
Frogs.
That's a good opener. Honestly, this first weekend's really good. You know, I'm probably most excited for the Tennessee-Syracuse game because I think you're going to figure out a lot about both of those teams really quickly. But it would be hard to say that I'm not excited to watch the Alabama-Florida State game, as much trash that has been talked from the Florida State after going 2-10.
The
Like here's the thing.
It's the portal era. They think they're back.
That's fine. You do it the year before where you're on the cuff of a playoff appearance and all that stuff.
They're bringing back the white end zones again. Did you see that?
No,
Going back to the Bobby Bowden era, white end zones with the gold Florida State with the garnet spear going through it. And, yeah, listen, they're going back to their roots down there in Tallahassee, Jacob. Don't be throwing shade.
I'm not the one throwing shade. I'm not the one throwing shade. Honest to goodness, to me, this is one of those games where you find out how good Alabama has the potential to be. I think they're going to be a really good team. I think they've got a chance to be in the mix of it at the end. But you got to figure out what they got at QB. And so that's the biggest question mark, I feel like, for half the country. We can all sit here and feel pretty confident because this kid was a 4-star and he sat in the system for 3 or 4 years, whatever. Until the lights turn on and you play the game, it's hard to know what you got.
I'll say this. I do think Florida State's going to be better, but in all reality, like calling out Alabama week 1 and saying you're getting them, Warwick Dunn's not walking out of that locker room for the Seminoles. Jameis Winston's not walking out of that locker room. The Boulware brothers aren't walking out of that locker room.
And on top of that, you got Alabama coming off, a really mediocre season for them, and they're not going to be in a good mood because, listen, they missed the playoffs last year. They lost the bowl game to Michigan. They were embarrassed about everything. Ty Simpson's a new quarterback. There's a lot of positive vibes coming out of Tuscaloosa, going on the road to Tallahassee. I think that's I think it's a great environment. But man, I think the roster, there's a significant difference in roster talent between what Alabama has and what Florida State has in 2025.
Yeah, and from everything that I'm reading and everything that I'm hearing, the defense for Alabama that they could march out this year has the potential to be one of the best in the country. And from what I heard about their scrimmage, that multiple people said it's the most physical scrimmage I think I've ever watched in person. And so if they're getting after it, I wouldn't want to be on the other end of it. Like, I'm looking at that Vandy sticker you got on the back of your computer, and like, if I'm doing Pavia, I am
Diego Pavia.
Sorry, Diego Pavia. If I'm Diego Pavia and I have to go to Tuscaloosa this year, I think I would stop running my mouth. Because what they're going to do to him will be illegal in 49 other states, just not in the state of Alabama on that Saturday.
Yeah, Castellano he was quarterback at Boston College last year, the quarterback at Florida State, right? Is that who you're talking about?
No,
he was talking about. He transitioned to Vandy.
Oh, I thought you were talking about
because they've got to go down to Tuscaloosa this year.
So I was just talking about how nasty the defense has the potential to be.
Go ahead, Jim.
The quarterback at Florida State was at Boston College last year, and he was talking some trash too.
Oh yeah.
So and there's been,
and it sounds like part of the reason he left Boston College because he wasn't sure he was going to win that job. So how much trash should you be talking going to Tallahassee? Listen, there's a lot going on there, but I'm excited to see. We've seen Mike Norvell do some big things in college football.
Well, had an undefeated season.
Yeah, he sure did.
Regular season.
And this is a make or break year for him, in my opinion, of are we going to give this guy a chance to stick around a little bit longer to try to right this ship, or do we need to start making plans and hitting the reset button again like they have had to do the past 2 or 3 coaches?
Deion Sanders, his name hovers over that program. I don't care what anyone says. I personally do not think that's going to happen, but I'm telling you, as long as he's a head coach at the college football level, anytime anything goes wrong at Florida State, everyone's going to say, bring back Deion. Bring back Deion. I promise you.
You want to talk about some fences that would be mended? Because we all know how emotional Florida State fans were when all of this went down, and how his comments towards their program and how, I mean, what's the cat that just got drafted?
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. I mean, he was a Florida State Seminole until he wasn't.
And a lot of this goes back even further than that to Devin Hester, who was a protege of Deion Sanders and chose Miami. And Deion supported that decision and encouraged that decision for Devin Hester to then go to, at the time, a powerhouse of a Miami team.
The biggest rival of Florida State. No, I don't care what anyone says. It's a Gator fan. The biggest rivalry of Florida State is Miami. Period.
I think I'm going to debate with you on that one here for a second. I think it depends on the year.
Well,
I really do.
Maybe that has to. I guess I'm going back to my roots. When Bowden was there,
Yeah.
when Jimmy Johnson was there, it was the biggest rivalry in college football. At that point,
no, that was.
You know, but I still.
Spurrier,
I know there's no love lost between the Gators and the
Spurrier
Seminoles.
and Bowden had a pretty good rivalry
There's no
too.
love lost between the Seminoles and the Gators. That's for sure. But man, I'm telling you that Miami Florida State rivalry.
Yeah,
that's strong, man.
It sure is. One thing I do want to get to before we take another break here, and of course at 5:40, Cleveland High School head football coach Chris Brown is joining the show. But you guys touched on it a little bit on Friday. As I've been able to kind of dive into it a little bit more, obviously the SEC next season moving to that 9-game schedule, and so it sounds like each team is going to have 3 games that are a lock that remain consistent annually on that schedule. So I want to start first with the Tennessee Volunteers, then we'll go Georgia Bulldogs. If I'm the Tennessee Volunteers, I'm looking at this, and I'm kind of torn because you've got Florida, Georgia, Vanderbilt, and Alabama. Those 4 games, I feel like any of those could be one that I say I want that to be an annual game. Vandy, for one, because you're going to dominate that series more than likely.
It's going to be Alabama, Florida. I mean, Alabama and Vanderbilt. You can lock those 2 in. It's who's the third.
Yeah. Is it Georgia? Is it Florida?
Is it Kentucky?
So this is my opinion on their 3. I think it should be Alabama. I think it should be Florida. And then I think it should be Georgia. Now, hear me out. You play Vandy every year and lock in a 4th on that rivalry weekend just like everybody else does. And you move and you play your out-of-conference game. I know that's like adding a 4th to the mix, but like to me, you can't get rid of the in-state rivalry game. It just can't happen. But we play a lot of these in-state rivalries out of conference on that rivalry weekend. Just make that kind of like a
non-conference game.
Well, no, it'd have to be a conference game.
It doesn't have to. There are 3 games in college football this year with in-conference opponents that don't count. Like Army and Navy. Army and Navy will play every year. It does not count as a conference game. They're both in the same league. Alabama played Mississippi State in 1980 and 1981. They did not count.
That's
as
a thought.
game.
If you're Vandy, do you want to use that non-conference game instead of getting yourself another win? You want to go over to Neyland Stadium and get your butt whipped?
But now you have to. So a new add-on to this is you play your non-conference, and there has to be one out-of-conference quality opponent. Like it has to be a G4 quality opponent.
So it could be someone within your conference.
So Georgia already plays at Georgia Tech. Kentucky already plays Louisville. South Carolina already plays Clemson. Florida already plays Florida State.
Right.
Those 4 teams
are locked in.
Are already locked in, and they're not going to have to do anything else to meet the schedule requirement.
Right.
But all these other schools are going to have to, and so it's not going to be like, no offense to yes, let's offend Indiana.
Bring it on.
You don't get to play 4 tomato.
Let me put my helmet back on.
You don't get to play 4 tomato cans. Like you are guaranteed that you are going to have to play a G4 opponent.
Yeah, and I think I love the fact they're doing that. Listen, we were just, Tennessee Vanderbilt is going to be a conference game, and that's going to be one of their 3. We know that.
You can't lose Alabama.
Alabama and Vanderbilt, that'll be Tennessee's 2 of the 3. The third one is either going to be Kentucky.
It'll be Florida. It's going to be Alabama, Florida,
or South Carolina. I'm convinced it'll be Kentucky or South Carolina.
So you think you lose that border game of Georgia, Tennessee?
Yeah, I do.
That was not a rival until the SEC went to division in 1992.
That's true.
Yeah.
Tennessee and Georgia have hardly ever played each other.
That's true.
Yeah,
then.
it's a good rivalry now, but it's going to be Alabama, Florida, and Vanderbilt.
So quickly, Jacob, going over to Georgia before we go to break. Who are their 3 locks?
Who are their 3 locks Hawks or who would I like them to be? Who I'd like them to be would be Auburn, Florida, and Tennessee. Who I think it's going to be is Auburn, Florida, and like South Carolina or Kentucky.
Yep. I think it'll be South Carolina.
It's going to be, because when we did this a few years ago, Kentucky was the one that we kind of latched onto or whatever. To me, I want to I want that game. I love that game.
It's a fun game.
For local people, especially here. It's such a good game to be a part of. It's a lot of fun. So those are my personal three. What I think it's going to be will be South Carolina or Kentucky, with the oldest rivalry in the South and the world's largest outdoor cocktail party.
Yep,
Good call.
sure.
Hey, when we come back, Cleveland High School head football coach Chris Brown joins the show right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
The difference between an average morning and a Hardee's morning is hearty goodness that lasts till lunchtime. Like Hardee's smoked sausage biscuit. Split Hillshire Farm smoked sausage on a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. And our Frisco breakfast sandwich with cherrywood smoked bacon or ham on toasted sourdough. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Download the app and join my rewards for special offers. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
When competition is fierce, sports injuries happen, and Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Saturday sports clinics are available at our Chattanooga and Cleveland offices from August 23rd through November 8th for the treatment of non-emergency orthopedic injuries like sprains, strains, and fractures. Doors open at 9 a.m., no appointment needed to be seen by our highly trained physicians and clinical staff. Saturday sports clinic dates are subject to change. Check sportmed.com for the latest information. That's sportmed.com.
Need cash? Check. Behind on bills? Check. Unexpected car repair, broken appliance, surprise vet bill? Check, check, and check. Time to check into Cash, your one-stop money shop. Check all the boxes all in one place. From payday loans to flex lines of credit, we've got solutions that move with you. The process is simple, quick, and designed to get you the help you need fast. If you've been approved, you can leave with cash in hand. Check Into Cash also offers check cashing, money orders, wire transfers, and even gift card buyback. Check your worries at the door and check into a store to apply. We have stores in the Chattanooga area, including Cleveland and Athens. Or visit checkintocash.com to get started today. Check Into Cash. We fund today to make a better tomorrow. Subject to state regulations, eligibility, credit check, underwriting, and approval. Rates, restrictions, and fees apply. Visit a store for details.
City School Magazine 2025 High School Football Collectors Edition. Your inside look at 41 teams. Team profiles, coaches' comments, stats, schedules, rosters, and game day pictures. See legendary teams, football fanatic families, and a lot more. Look for the Golden Football. Win $500 for your school. $500 for your school. Purchase a copy from your school booster clubs. All proceeds go to schools. City School Magazine High School Football Collectors Edition. Don't miss it. Help support your school.
It's Monday, so it's burger and beer night at Aubrey's for just $12. Aubrey's Cleveland. Define your tomorrow at Cleveland State Community College. Voted the #1 college in your county, Cleveland State has something for everyone, in person, online, and hybrid classes. You can take your classes when, where, and how you want. Choose the option that's right for you. Apply now. To find out more about the programs Cleveland State has to offer, go to registration.clevelandstate.cc or call 423-473-2321. Fall semester is just around the corner, so don't wait. Define your tomorrow at Cleveland State.
Cleveland Tire Center, locally owned and operated for over 45 years. Cleveland Tire, your one-stop auto care shop in Cleveland. North Lee Highway, where the name says it all.
The Drive will be back after. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Welcome back to the Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. Discover your new favorite sweet treat, the Mayfield Dairy Ice Cream Bar, now available in 4 delicious flavors: chocolate chip cookie dough, chocolate fudge brownie, caramel waffle cone, and cherry fudge chunk. Learn more at MayfieldDairy.com. Of course, Mayfield are proud sponsors of the Atlanta Braves, who over the weekend fell in the last series to the Metropolitans, unfortunately, but were able to salvage the series, winning that last game yesterday on Sunday, 4-2. And just to kind of recap that quickly before we're joined by Cleveland High School head football coach Chris Brown, just a couple updates. Chris Sell's going to be coming back. It looks like he's going to start Saturday in Game 3 of the Philadelphia series. And then the Braves finished 8-5 against the Mets this season, which is
8 straight years they've won the series.
That's a big deal. So that's what's going on with the Braves tonight. They are back in action down in the 305 as they're set to take on the Marlins for a 3-game set. The final game, the final series, between those two teams. Spencer Strider back on the mound for the Braves, taking on Edward Cabrera. First pitch at 6:40 on Mix 104.1 and pre and post game coverage. Also here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. With that, we're going to transfer back over to high school football, and we're joined with Cleveland High School head football coach Chris Brown. Coach, glad to have you back on the show with us. And real quick, just to kind of lead you straight into things, if you could, looking back to last week, what do you take away from that game that kicked off your season against Walker Valley? What things do you take away? What did you learn about your team?
Well, I mean, the biggest takeaway on the positive side is our kids played extremely hard. They really, and that's what we challenged them with before the game, just to empty their tank for their teammates and for the C on the chest. And, they did that. And that's something that has to be commended first and foremost. And, we also learned that we have a lot of things that we have to get better at, which, but you don't until you do it officially, till you do it under the lights. So I'm excited at how hard we played, and I'm more excited to see how much ground we can gain from week 1 to week 2.
Coach, one of the things that I was impressed with, your quarterback McGowan, not just from an athletic standpoint, but from a leader standpoint. You could just tell that he had a lot of confidence out there on the field. Just kind of talk about his play on Friday night.
He plays with a lot of poise, a lot of passion, and he understands that when experience is just not deep within this team, that he has to take what he has and amplify it through himself and infuse it in others. And just very proud of him, the way he kept his composure and just kept leading and kept attacking and kept his team believing.
Coach, they always say, and you can, I guess, discuss this more than we can, that a football team makes more, improvements between games 1 and 2 than any other time of the year. Do you fall into that philosophy?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for over 20 years, it's never not proven true. So, there's no reason to think that it won't be true for us this week.
Coach, I know you're not really big on talking individuals, but I'm going to throw another name out there, a guy that I was pretty impressed with, and I think Blue Raider fans are going to get used to seeing him tote the rock a little bit this year, number 23, Brashawn Beard. Talk about his performance.
No, I was very impressed with how hard he ran, and it's a difficult thing for a high school to come back after a critical mistake so early in the game, and he was completely unfazed. And he's one that we trust in any situation, and he's a hard, powerful runner. He is on the first snap. He is on his 30th carry. So we're really excited for his senior season.
Coach, flipping the page to this week, what's the message to the team going into McMinn?
Just physicality. You better be able to match their physicality, because they play football in order to get in the brawl. They love the physicality aspect of the game, and it's to be commended, and it's something that I respect about Coach Cagle and his program over the better part of 2 decades. And we have to be able to come out and match it, and it's a big part of their game and what it takes to beat them. You got to match the physicality.
Coach, it's the first road game of the season for you guys up there in McMinn County. Pretty well known as a pretty rowdy atmosphere when the Cherokees are at home. Is there anything that you're doing to prepare your team for that?
Yeah. The good news with this bunch is they don't know what they don't know. Every day is a new day. Every game and environment's a new environment. And it sounds cliche, but you just gotta focus on us. Any effort not spent focusing on us and putting that towards us is just wasted effort. So, we just take every new situation and environment the best we can.
Coach, what was the attitude of the team today?
Energetic. I mean, they're just you can forget pretty quickly. They're just young and they haven't played a lot, so they get excited to play. It's teaching them how to be excited to practice in the ways that create successful habits on Fridays. But there's enthusiasm and there's new hope, and it's what you would expect from a team with a roster our age.
Coach, we talked a lot at the beginning of the show, just kind of recapping last week and stuff. And one thing that all three of us kept kind of bringing up was the fight that your team has, the mentality. That's something that if there's anything that's been noticeable from the start of your tenure going back to previous years, this team seems very tight-knit. They seem like, and you kind of referred to it when you're talking about McGowan, that they're going to continue to battle regardless of the circumstances. Is that something, a mentality that you try to bring, or is that just kind of already engraved in these guys?
That's the expectation. I'm a firm believer that kids, for the most part, will meet your expectations if you're clear and clearly define it for them. And, that is our expectation. We don't let the scoreboard, we don't let our personal feelings dictate the effort that we play with. And that's something I'm proud that our kids held true to this past Friday, and we better continue to hold true to it, no matter what side of the scoreboard we're on. It doesn't. The circumstances don't change the expectation that we have on that.
Coach, before we let you go, is there some football action going on over there tonight?
Yes, sir. I'm actually awaiting the opportunity to get out and lead a JV matchup here with Walker Valley versus Cleveland over at Benny Monroe Stadium.
All right, so any of our listeners that want to go see some football here at the beginning of the week,
absolutely,
some JV football over there at Benny Monroe Stadium. Coach Brown, thanks again for taking the time to join us. I know you've got a lot going on. You're a head coach that we'll vouch for you. We know when it's time to work, you're locked in, you're working, and you utilize every minute, so we do appreciate your time with us.
Well, I appreciate all you do to cover our high school athletes. They certainly deserve it in all sports and in all extracurriculars. So you guys, thank you, and y'all have a great evening.
All right, you too, Coach.
Thank you.
Cleveland High School head football coach Chris Brown. And listen, he's a cut and dry coach, and I love coaches like that because as a player, you know what the expectation is. You know how you're supposed to conduct your business. And as a fan, he's not going to sugarcoat anything. What you hear come out of his mouth is law, and I've got a ton of respect for that.
Listen, you just own what happens. You don't make excuses. You don't say, oh, poor, pitiful me. You say, guys, strap them up. Let's get ready to go play the next one. Literally, every team's going to lose a game somewhere down the road. I mean, there may be a couple teams that go undefeated, but it's rare. You got to learn by your losses. And like he said, between game one and game two, you see the most improvement. And listen, they were hamstrung because they didn't get to play as many scrimmages as they would have liked. And all the teams around here, the rain really wreaked havoc. So we'll see what kind of difference a week makes between what they showed against Walker Valley and what they will show up there in McMinn on the road, hostile environment.
Well, I've got to correct you real quick, Jim. The 72 Dolphins did not lose a game. Jacob, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the foundation's the most important part. Is your house built on the sand or is it built on the rocks? And because at the end of the day, the storm's coming. Every team's going to have a storm. This is what I tell my baseball players. In life, you're going to deal with the storm, but where's your foundation built? Is it built in the sand or is it built on the rock? It sounds like they're building the foundation on the rock over there. They're going to have some storms that are going to blow in. You weather them, you take them, and you move forward. And when your foundation's built strong, good things start happening in the future.
I noticed that he brought up the 72 Dolphins, but not the 88 Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Listen, that was an undefeated team as well. That was
more recent than 72.
I went professional. Only team to ever do it. Right. In the Super Bowl era.
Yeah, in the Super Bowl era, yeah. Although the Patriots.
They were close, man. What were they, 17-1? Is that what it was? I
think 19.
Okay, 19-1, something like that.
Sorry, I just don't have to go back very far for my team to be
undefeated. Yeah, we got a Bulldog over here. He's beating his chest. But I tell you what, he's not in full uniform. I can tell you that much right now.
I'm not.
Anyway, he's got. To me, it looks like when you first look at it, you swear him down, it's UCLA.
Yeah.
Because he's got the powder blue with the light yellow outline of white. I'm like, if it said UCLA on there, I'd be, yeah, I can see that.
Hey, going back to Tennessee Vol football real quick, and of course our Vols 25 giveaway presented by USS. Be sure to enter for that for your chance to win tickets to the Syracuse game this weekend or any other road game. All you've got to do is go on any of the social media platforms here and submit Vols25 and your name. You can also text us at 749-1013 with your name and Vols25 to win some of those tickets. But Josh Heupel had his press conference today, and Boo Carter specifically was mentioned. We know that's a guy a lot of people around here like to keep track of, a former Bear. First of all, did you see he got Brainerd some new swag?
Those are sick, man.
So I
awesome.
want to come back to that. I thought that was pretty cool.
Why didn't he do it for Bradley?
I'll tell you what.
I'm sorry.
That's another conversation.
Okay,
but
I'm gonna leave it there.
And we're going to go back to it. But Boo Carter will play this week against Syracuse down there in Atlanta, and still a week of practice to go. Coach Heupel said for him to learn and earn a job. So he's not off the hook completely yet. He's making him earn that spot and earn that playing time all the way up to game time, which is commendable. But I almost question, like, if it's a tight game, Boo Carter's going to be on the field. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now.
Yeah, I'm excited for that game, man. I'll be honest. I've had that one circled all year long, but mainly just because, like, I'm excited to see what the Vols have. There's been so much focus on Nico and his departure, but, like, the running back room is going to be good. I think the defense for the Vols is going to be good. Like, I'm excited to move past all the talking points that we've talked about all summer long, because that's all that there's been to talk about, to moving on to the product of the field. I'm not one of these that have bought in that Tennessee's an 8-4 team. I'm not going to be one that's going to be like, oh, because they don't have a quarterback, they're going to be this, and this.
Well, you mentioned the running back room. I think obviously Deshaun Bishop is a guy Tennessee fans already know. I think he's going to have a big year. But transfer Star Thomas is a guy that they're liking what they're seeing from him on the practice field. So he's going to contribute a lot to that Vols offense. But I will say this, going back to the Boo Carter thing, I thought it was awesome that he did that for Brainerd, which is a team that we know is kind of historically not had the best stuff.
And you're right. They don't have the funding that Bradley Central has. I get that. But
yeah.
He went to Bradley. He never played it down at football there. I think he played basketball.
Played basketball at
He
Bradley.
never played football, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, to me, I look at it as him giving back to his community. You know, like that. He's kind of a hometown kid that all those athletes look up to, and yes, did a bunch in this community look up to him for a year, for sure. But like his roots are there. That's where he grew up. That's where, you know, he probably first started toting a rock. You know, so to me, I looked at it as a really cool gesture to a school that now has some pretty awesome uniforms. If you saw
30
them,
of them, right? 30?
And can I sneak this in there? Yeah. They were Adidas uniforms.
Interesting. I did not know about that.
They were Adidas uniforms. Nice red with that powder baby looking blue numbers, and yeah, he did right by those young men. They're going to look nice. Stripes
over checks. That's been the Tennessee saying. Stripes over checks.
Oh Lord!
Tell you what, you guys got anything else you want to talk about college football wise?
Well, I know this much. My TV's going to be. I hope my TV's in good shape because it's going to get wore out.
Clemson
starting on Friday. Well, Thursday, really.
Clemson LSU as one that we started going down the slate. We didn't get to the 7:30 slot. To me, I almost wish that was like a yearly play game for the rights of Death Valley. Like if both teams are going to claim it, I wish it was either like a yearly or a bi-yearly matchup where these guys got to claim the right to it for the next year.
Listen, Friday night, obviously we're going to be booked up with high school football coverage here at our sister stations, but Georgia Tech at Colorado is a game that I'm intrigued with.
Ooh, that's a good one.
There's a game in Columbus, Ohio I'm interested in too. I think Texas Ohio State's going to be a good one.
It's a big time one.
Noon going up against Tennessee Syracuse. Gosh,
yep. Big noon kickoff over there, Texas at Ohio State. Sunday, Virginia Tech at South Carolina. That little Beamer Bowl there, even though Pops is retired. And then, of course, Notre Dame taking on Miami down at Miami. A lot of games across the entire weekend. Hey, great show. Great way to lead the week off. Had Chris Brown on with us. If you didn't catch it, go back on YouTube, Facebook, check it out. For Jacob, Jim, I'm Andy. Have a great day, everybody.
From the Alon Planning Partners Weather Center, here's your forecast on ESPN Cleveland 1013. Visit them online at alonplanning.com or give them a call at 14.